I'm Louisa Barton for the Horse Talk Show here at EPIC, the Equine Performance and Innovative Center with Dr. Alberto Rian. We've been talking rehab, conditioning, and what you can do complementary in addition to either what you've already tried that maybe hasn't worked with your veterinarian, or in fact is working and you'd like it to be a little bit more effective. We're going to actually take it now over to the Aqua Treadmill and the saltwater spa they have here at EPIC. And let's start with the treadmill and talk a little bit about the benefits. Dr. Rian, the treadmill.
Thank you very much, Luisa. You actually couldn't put it in better words, because our biggest success is not on the big success that I would like to see in our clients and our patients is to improve their condition. So things that are already doing some sort of work for them and getting them faster, getting them results faster. And yes, obviously, if they have tried other things that have not worked, then we're here to get those taken care of. But I always want to make sure I talk about that and I promote that if you have something that is working, I can guarantee you that we have something to actually complement that and make that work better, faster, more effective, and get a better healing.
Right.
And that's where the Aqua Treadmill works really well, because the Aqua Treadmill is pretty much a controlled rehab environment. We control the water level, we control the speed of the horse. So by controlling the water level, we can control the resistance of the muscle. And you cannot tell a horse, okay, move your shoulder up to here. You cannot tell them that. Right. They don't, right? But the cool thing about the water is that you increase the water level and they have no choice but to move their shoulder where we want it to be. And that's one of the beauties of the water treadmill, that we really have a lot of control of what muscles to work and where to work them. For example, there's some muscles called the epaxial muscles, right? The muscles in the back. And the water treadmill is really good to work those muscles. Some people call it the core muscles. Very good, because we can control how to move those muscles and how much resistance to put in those muscles. The same thing with quadriceps. When we have quadricep weakness, works beautiful. And the same thing with tendons and ligament strengthening. If we start slow and then we go in a gradient from strengthening to more and more and more until they are very strong, and we can add more pressure, add more speed. And in addition to that, a cool thing is that at the beginning you can put the horse almost afloat, and that decreases the weight of the horse in that tendon. And then by the end, you bring the water down and you put more weight on the tendon.
How incredible.
Yeah, it's a beautiful
thing. So you monitor the progress.
Exactly. Monitor the progress. And if the horse is getting better, you decrease the water, put more pressure in the tendon. That way you keep the tendon moving and keep the muscle moving, because one thing that we have found out is that you cannot stop a horse and give a year of stall rest and expect that horse to just miraculously recover.
Right.
Minimum, you have to exercise the horse. And it's not just exercise the horse by putting them in a paddock and let the horse exercise themselves, because they are really bad at it. But you can control it.
So in actual fact, a horse wouldn't necessarily even have to be injured. It could just be a horse that you're trying to bring up to a certain level of fitness, and that would help with conditioning.
If you want a horse that has been off for a long time, right? And it has not a good core, or the quadriceps need more work, then you put him in the treadmill and you start developing those muscles. This horse is perfectly sound, and you're just doing extra gym work for him, right? And making him stronger, increasing core. By increasing core, what happened? Decrease injuries, right? So a horse that comes to the Aqua Treadmill for conditioning does a lot of injury prevention. And that is my favorite part of this, because an ounce of prevention is worth a tons of treatment.
Yes.
And prevention is always better, no matter where, no matter what organism it is, what animal, people, anybody, prevention is always better.
And intervals for this could be every day, every other day?
We start by doing it 2 to 3 times a week, and then we start increasing the water At the beginning, we put the water to the fetlock because remember, water adds resistance. Have you ever walked in water?
Right.
It's a little tough, right? So they increase the water from the fetlock, then to the knee, then to the chest if needed. And then you do it every 3 days. Then as the horse gets fit, you do it 3 times a week. Then you can do it 4 times a week. The maximum we'll do is about 5 times a week.
Okay.
And that's pretty heavy exercise.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Switch us over to the saltwater spa.
Saltwater spa, what is it? It's going into the ocean, into the cold ocean, with a swollen leg or with a wound, and put on your legs and feel what it does for you. You can almost see that healing happening in front of your eyes. For those of us who live by the ocean in the past, you know how beautiful it is to just put your legs or your arm in the ocean, you bring it out, and it's just healing. That's exactly what the saltwater spa is. Salt and minerals, cold, so that decreases inflammation, is antibacterial, it has increases healing, obviously, because of the aforementioned advantages, and everything that comes with it. For example, now we can get into what it does for a ligament or a tendon or the joint itself. You have a swollen joint, what does the doctor tell you? Put ice on it. Same thing, the cold water spa, cold water spa, that's exactly what it's doing. And decreasing that inflammation from that joint. And you can monitor where you put it. If it's the hoof, you can go down on the hoof. If it's the fetlock, you can bring it up. And you can treat 4 fetlocks at the same time because you put the whole horse on it. So that's the beauty of it. And in addition to that, it's a pretty good therapy for horses that have some foot pain. And back in the days, long time ago, they did a research in Australia where they prevented horses from getting laminitis by putting them in 32 degrees, right? And they put them there, they tried to induce laminitis on them, and they couldn't.
Really?
Yeah. So the research were a little bit of extreme conditions, but what that taught us was that cold water, the colder it is actually very beneficial to the horse. And sure enough, when we get a horse that we suspect could be at risk of laminitis, we put it in the saltwater spa.
Very therapeutic.
Mm-hmm.
Very healing.
Yes.
Wonderful. And that therapy would be an every other day, several times a week.
We have there are certain diseases like there's cellulitis, septic cellulitis, some really bad skin infections that we've been able to put. We have had to put it 2 or 3 times a day. A horse that's at risk of laminitis, we actually have keep him there 4 or 5 times a day.
Wow.
Yes, and the good thing is that people cannot be in really cold water for a very long time because there's muscles in the legs or in your hands, but there's no muscles in the horse's feet. It's mostly joints, ligaments, tendons. So you don't freeze them to death. That's why a horse could be up to 24 hours in ice without side effects.
Wow.
So you could do it as many as it's needed.
And you've seen really good results.
Really good results.
Especially in laminitis cases.
Oh, especially prevention of laminitis.
Okay.
And a lot of laminitic horses get hoof abscesses, just chronic hoof abscesses. It's really good to get those chronic hoof abscesses clean, in addition to your other therapies, whether we're doing also hyperbaric chamber or whether we're doing antibiotics and therapeutic shoeing. Obviously, you have to always do therapeutic shoeing. So it's a great complementary to those cases. One of my favorites for septic cellulitis. It is amazing how it helps decreasing the inflammation. I mix septic cellulitis, a horse that has a really high fever, very lame, not doing good. You put him in the saltwater spa, you put him in the hyperbaric chamber, and you make a game changer right there.
Really incredible. Dr. Alberto Rian here at Epic in Ocala, the horse capital of the world, sharing with us some real testimonial on the rehab opportunities here for a horse that's either already in treatment and you really want to see that process speed up and happen faster, or even as treatment. And I got to say, I take my 35-year-old to the beach sometimes and ride him in the cold salt water, and he certainly loves it. That's not an opportunity that we get to have all the time, but right here we have the opportunity for your horse to come and enjoy that saltwater therapy at Epic. I'm Louisa Barton for the Horse Talk Show.